Hey everybody, good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope you're all doing well tonight. It is Sunday night, September the 1st, and I just wanted to get on here. I feel like I haven't been on here in a minute. But I've been kind of busy. My son plays football, plays youth football, and during this time of the year, we are very, very, very busy. I mean, 4 days a week busy. So, anyway, and that's not even counting, Bible study on Wednesday nights. And so anyway, we're just busy during the football season. So but I wanted to come on here because I just want to go over a couple of dreams I've had, and just to show somebody or somebody's that how the enemy tries to attack your progress as you are moving forward with what the Lord has you to do, right? Um, and I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but it's coming together now. Like my purpose is coming together, right? I know that I have been tasked with breaking the generational curse in my family, right? And my assignment is my family. So that has come to fruition. And I have many other assignments as well, but I believe the main one is my family, along with just children in general. I believe that the Lord has led me into children's ministry, even though I can have a ministry over many different things because I've had a lot of experiences in life. However, I think that's where the Lord is leading me is to minister to the youth or to children or both. So, with that being said, I can go over a couple of things that I've got going on, right? So, I'm the kind of person where I don't go looking for opportunities, right? I let the opportunities come to me, so to speak, and not in a prideful kind of way, but in a way where I let the Lord, do what He's gonna do. Like I let him take the lead in bringing me opportunities. I pray for him to open doors, to expand my territory, so to speak, to just, give me opportunities I never would have thought I would have had, right? So, with that being said, I was approached by a minister, a lady I met at my pastor's anniversary gala. And that was back in June, and she's happened to have a radio station that she does on Sunday mornings. She actually does a show on Sunday mornings, her ministry on Sunday mornings, and she invites guests to come on and tell their story. So I met her at the gala in June, and we just kind of talked, and we didn't really talk about a whole lot, So um, about a month or so later, she actually invited me to come on her show to tell my story, right? So I told her I would. I said I would wait till after my birthday, that I will come on there and do it sometime after August the 15th. So I agreed to come on her show actually today. Today was supposed to be the day, right? And granted, this is a 30-minute show. So I already knew that that was not going to be enough time for me to go on there and say what I wanted to say, right? But the thing is, she'll invite you to come back and more times to tell your story because my story cannot be done in 15 minutes. So, but um, anyway, so leading up to this in the past week before today, and I was just kind of conflicted about what to actually discuss because it's only 15 minutes really between songs and questions. You know what I'm saying? There's not that much time. So I was wanting to focus on generational curses, right? And how the Lord is using me in that area to break generational curses in my family. Um, but I just wanted to be led by what the Lord wanted me to show, right? Um, and He was kind of leaning me more towards going into spiritual gifts, which are also tied into my generation, into my family, because we do have spiritual gifts in our family. Um, that do pass that do come through generations. But when like I said, I still couldn't figure out what to do exactly. So when she texted me yesterday and and told me that she would have to reschedule because she had COVID, I was kind of grateful, but at the same time, because I wasn't really true, I wasn't really fully decided on what to speak on yet. At the same time, I was kind of grateful, but I was also kind of reminded of what I knew was going to come with this accepting this opportunity to speak, right? Because I actually had a dream. Okay, so I wasn't gonna do it. I would just I don't know, I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't, like I said, it wasn't enough time to tell my story, right? So I wasn't gonna do it. But then she asked me again, and I said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And as soon as I said that, that same night, I had a dream, and it was just confirmation from the Lord, that yes, you need to do this. Okay, so in the dream, I went onto our show, and my youngest son was with me, and I was actually doing the show and doing the interview and everything, right? And my son was pushing buttons. Like he was like a little, he wasn't the age he was now. He was like a little bit younger, but he was pushing buttons. It was a touch screen. So I did it, I guess like at home, like on a Zoom call or something like that, right? So he was touching screens on the computer screen or whatever, and it was touch screen. So whatever he pushed, it kind of muted the whole interview, right? So she couldn't hear me. I could hear her, but she she couldn't hear what I was saying. So I started typing my answers in the little chat area of the like the Zoom call or whatever we were using, right? And I noticed her writing some things down in her book or in her piece of paper because I noticed from watching her previously that she had took a break and she was writing down some stuff on her paper, right? But in my dream, she was actually taking a bunch of notes down. I could see that she had notes for every single person that came on her show and did an interview, right? So she was taking notes, right? So I know she was taking the notes, and after the interview, she had an assistant that was with her, and her assistant came up to me and she gave me the sheet where she had made notes about my interview, and she gave me a $20 bill. So, and that was the end of my dream, right? And this was after I had decided to go ahead and go on her show, which I was kind of hesitant about, right? So that dream to me, it confirmed that I was doing the right thing by going on her show. And the number 20 is what really stuck out in this dream, right? Because the number 20 represented a period of waiting, completeness, military readiness, and the age of maturity. Okay. In Hebrew, the number 20, it means kaf, Kaph. It equals strength, provision, blessings, the fulfillment of promises, the milestone of reaching full maturity. Okay. It also means an upcoming season of waiting, a life transition, or a call to greater responsibility or the need to prepare for spiritual battles. Okay. And in strong concordance, it means exaltation or exuberant joy. All right. So when I had this dream, I knew that the Lord confirmed, yes, you can go ahead and go do this, right? Um, but I also knew that once I, decided to do this, that I had to prepare myself for spiritual attacks that may come ahead of this interview, right? So this whole past week, I had just been like, I had just been irritated and frustrated like all week over nothing, right? Um, and I knew then like that was the enemy trying to attack, and the fact that I couldn't figure out what to speak about, that was just the enemy attacking, you know, the plans that I had, or trying to just put doubt and fear in my mind, or have me question what I was doing, right? So that's how the attacks came my way. But once my sister in Christ said she had COVID and had to cancel the interview, I realized that that's how the enemy attacked in another way. Because as I was praying for myself, and getting myself spiritually covered to go and do her interview, I forgot to pray for her. So, and it wasn't out of selfishness, it was just out of really, I mean, not knowing. Like I didn't, that's not something I thought about, right? So I just said I should have covered her as well as covered myself, you know, before this interview, right? Because she's also she's a minister, and she's also somebody that's doing the work of the Lord, right? So she needed to be covered as well as me needing to be covered too. So I just had to, apologize to the Lord. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't pray for her as well. I should have prayed for her as well. Right. But, so last night I had another dream because we rescheduled it for next week. Okay. We rescheduled it, had another dream. And in this dream, I had to, I had to, I'm still trying to figure out what this dream means. I'm still asking the Lord to show me um, the interpretation of the dream. So when I give my interpretation of it, I feel like the Lord is leading me to rely on Him for it. So I'm just going to share the dream and share what my interpretation of it was, and I may get something different from the Lord. Okay, so I put this in my phone, and I had this dream last night. So last night in the dream that I had, um, I was in downtown Nashville, okay, Nashville, Tennessee. So I was with a young white male, right? And I know him. Like I know him in real life. I could not think of his name, right? But we were in downtown Nashville. I had on one of these like adult baby doll dresses, and it was like a flower pattern. And I think we had just came from like the club or something like that. I don't even go to clubs anymore, but that's where we came from in the dream, right? It was about 4 a.m. in the morning. It was almost because the sun was almost up. And we were on our way home. We were walking home, right? Um, but we knew that we could not, it was not safe to walk on the street. Okay. We couldn't walk on the street. It wasn't safe to walk the streets that late at night. So we were on actually the rooftop of a building. We were walking and he was, I guess he was a little tipsy, because he was running back and forth on top of the rooftop, like looking over the building at the street, which was far, far, far down, right? And I was afraid that he was going to fall um, and literally die or whatever. So I was watching him as he did it, and the second time he did it, he leaned over the building again, but this time he threw up. I guess because he was a little tipsy or whatever. I don't know, but he threw up. So after he threw up, we finished walking and we walked across the building. And again, we could not walk the streets. It was too dangerous to walk the streets. So we had to find different ways to get home, right? So we got to the end of the building and we came to some tunnels and we went through three different tunnels. Okay. So the first tunnel, it was kind of like a straight tunnel, right? It was so narrow, like only one person could fit at a time, right? So he went first. I had on this baby doll dress, but we had to get on our elbows to actually crawl through this tunnel, right? Kind of like military style. So we crawled through the tunnel. The next tunnel went down a little bit, like just a little bit, right? So we went down that tunnel. The next tunnel went like straight down, like a roller coaster. Like you literally slid down this tunnel, right? So we got to the end of the third tunnel, and this time we came to a door. So I opened the door. We went inside. It was kind of like it was some kind of establishment. It could have been like a little, um, I don't know if it was like a little hole in the wall. It was some kind of establishment where people went, would go hang out or whatever. But the thing is, I knew the people at the place. Like I knew the owner. I knew a couple of people that were there, and I think I knew the owner. There was some men that I knew there, a couple of men that I knew there. So I was talking to them and letting them know that, we're on our way home or whatever. So I didn't have on any shoes. So there were some shoes there. There were some sandals. There were mismatched sandals. But I put them on because I needed some shoes on my feet to finish walking home, right? And at this point, the boy disappeared. The boy I was with disappeared. I don't know where he went. So I said, okay, but no, I heard gunshots, right? So I was talking to them and I heard gunshots in the distance. And when I heard the gunshots, I'm like, am I hearing gunshots right now? So I listened again, and yes, I heard gunshots. They were getting a little bit louder, right? So I said, okay, I gotta go. It's time for me to go home, right? So I left and I got outside, and this time I was in North Nashville. Now, if you're not from the Nashville, Tennessee area, okay, North Nashville is considered the hood. Okay, parts of it is. And I was in the hood area of North Nashville, but nobody was on the streets, right? It was empty. Streets were empty. So remember, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? It was almost sunlight. It was almost dawn or whatever. Um, so when I got outside, I was going down the sidewalk and I heard the gunshots get louder, right? And this time I heard like multiple gunshots. Like there were several people shooting guns, right? So at this point I started to run. I never seen them. I just heard them. So at this point I started to run and I was running down the sidewalk. I was running like through the street, the streetways or whatever. and I came across this house, and I knew the house. I knew people who lived in the house, right? And this was one of those houses where if you open the front door, you can run straight through the down the hallway through the back door and leave, right? So opened the door, I ran through the house, and I was running through the house, and I seen people that lived in the house, and the house was like either like a gang member's house, or it was either somebody that sold drugs or whatever. But I seen to the right there was a room where people were in it, and when I ran past them, I came back. I was like, because one of the guys came out, like he was like I was an intruder, right? He was getting ready to like draw his gun on me or whatever. So I stopped and I said, hey, don't shoot me. Like, don't shoot me. I'm just running through. I'm just passing through. I need to go through your house to get to your door to go out the back door because I can't go on the street like I heard gunshots or whatever. So I'm like, I can't. I'm just passing through. I just need to go through your back door, right? I'm going home. I just need to go through your back door, right? So he was cool, let me go. Said, go ahead and go. So I ran through his back door. I opened up the back door and I ended up in Mayfield, Kentucky, which is where I'm born and raised. Right. And I was right there at the corner where they have this restaurant called Midtown. Right. And it's a block from my grandfather's house. Right. So at that point I said, okay, I'm gonna go run to my granddad's house. And my dream ended. Okay. So I had that dream. I woke up and I was like, Lord, what in the world was that about? Okay. So, like I said, this is one of those dreams where like normally the Lord gives me dreams that are pretty easy to interpretate, right? But this one is a little bit harder. So I'm still not fully sure on what the interpretation is. I'm still waiting on the Lord to give me that interpretation. I asked him to give me that interpretation of that dream, and I'm still waiting on it. However, there was a couple of things that stuck out to me. And number one was the tunnels, right? The tunnels represented like transition, transformation, journey, progression, hope, and resilience, right? That was what the tunnels represented. Okay, because I wasn't afraid of these tunnels. Like they weren't dark, they weren't scary, they weren't like full of water. It was just a place to travel through to get to the next spot. Okay. Um, so that was to me is what the tunnel stuck out to me, right? The fact that I knew everybody in my dream, it stuck out to me too. Because I knew everybody I came in contact with, I knew them. Okay. And then the other thing that stuck out to me was the um the gunshots, right? And the gunshots stuck out to me the most because, I never had a dream about gunshots, first of all. But I didn't see the people shooting the gun. I just heard gunshots. Okay, and dreaming about gunshots, it's an indication. This is what I looked up. Okay, this is not my interpretation of it. It's what I'm looking up and I'm seeing that it means. I still need a full revelation of what this dream truly meant. Right, I need to get that from the Lord. Okay, but it said dreaming about hearing about gunshots is an indication for a strong and solid partnership. Something emerging from your subconscious. You're squarely set on achieving your goals. Um, it's harboring it's a harbinger for wisdom, intellect, understanding, and rationality. Okay, something from your past is still impacting your present situation. Okay, hearing a gunshot dream symbolizes emotional balance and strength. You are being protected by some spiritual power. It says you are seeking support and direction in your life. This is a symbol for an emotional wall that you are putting up, okay, and you are looking for attention. That's what it says. That's why I looked up or whatever. So after that, okay, I'm like putting those all together, okay. But things I tied it back to the fact that I'm going to go do this interview with this lady, this minister on her show, okay, because my topic is going to be over generational curses. That was what I was focusing on, and we know that in this season, there are so many of us that have been tasked with breaking generational curses over our families, right? And I took that to mean, for one, that the Lord is protecting me because I've had dreams before about where he pulled me out of danger. Okay. So I believe again, this is another dream where he has shown me that he's protecting me in the midst of any dangerous situation that I may come upon, he's still protecting me, right? He's giving me wisdom, right? Because I am moving forward with what he's called me to do. Okay. This is not going to stop me from going and doing this interview. As a matter of fact, these things are what confirmed to me that I should do the interview. Okay. Because we know the enemy will try to stop you any way he can through people, circumstances, or whatever it is, right? And this just lets me know that I'm on the right path, that this is something that I do need to do. This is something I'm going to do. And while I'm doing it, the Lord is going to protect me in spite of what is around me that may try to harm me. Okay. So, with that being said, there are many of you that have been tasked with breaking generational curses in your family. And maybe you are afraid to do it. Okay. I'm not afraid to do it. Okay. I have come into so much knowledge and so much wisdom in this journey with the Lord that nothing scares me. Okay. When you see demons in real life, nothing should scare you anymore. Okay. When you can face those demons in real life, there's nothing else to be afraid of. Right. Okay. So, and we don't have a spirit of fear. We have the power of the spirit of the has to go, not a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind, right? And my power comes from the Lord. He gives me the strength that I need to move forward with my call every day, right? In spite of what's going on around me, right? He is my protector. He's my provider. He is the one that gives me my strength to do this and to move forward. And when God calls you to do something, yes, it may be hard at times, but he builds you for it. He builds you for it. Like, I'm built for this. I've been built for this. I was actually raised to be at this point where I'm at right now. My upbringing got me to this point right now. Okay. My circumstances got me to this point right now. My experiences got me to this point right now. And we are coming into a season where God is about to, for one, bring his judgment, right? For two, he's going to rebuild his kingdom. Okay. And if you don't break the generational curses in your family before he rebuilds his kingdom, you won't have a generation left to be a part of the kingdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. He's not going to let all these sinners get into the kingdom. Okay. So it's up to you to break those curses and those patterns in your family through your children, right? Stop it at your children. Stop it with the last that you might have let slide. Okay. Stop it with that one. Because as long as you still have a children and kids to bring forth more fruit, you can still break those generational curses. Okay. So yes, he's not going to allow everybody into his kingdom. That's why there are so many of us right now that have been tasked with being the generational curse breaker, right? Because we have generations after us that are going to be here for I don't know how long, right? And we're here for a time such as this, like such as this. God knew when we were born what we were built to do, what he was going to build us to do, what we were born to do. Okay, so don't let anything scare you from fulfilling his purpose. Okay, so again, I tell people all the time, this is not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. Said 1,000 times, it's not about you. It's about people that come after you, the people that you have born and bred into this earth. Okay, some of them might not be right. We got that's okay. That's okay because they're gonna get right. They get right or get left. But you are a generational curse breaker in his family, so it's up to you to um to take, for one, ownership, right? To take ownership, and for two, to take authority and power of what God has given you to do, what he gave you to do, the task he has given you to do, the purpose he gave you to do. Okay? Because it's been people before you that they couldn't do it for whatever reason, but he put something in you because he knew that you were going to be the one to do it. And I've never been one to back down from a fight. Okay? I don't start them, but I will happily finish it. All right. I'm just one of those. I don't start it, but I will finish it. All right. So, with that being said, there's so many of you here that listen to this today, or it could be listening to somebody else. I don't know. But you have been called to be a generational curse breaker in your family. You cannot let that task slide by, because if you don't do it, nobody in your family may do it. Okay. You may be the last one in your bloodline that can do it, because we know the enemy is running rampant and he's just getting more and more bold. And God is slowly lifting up his hand off of this earth. He's going to let the enemy reign for so many years. Okay. And if you don't catch it now, if you don't get in line now, get into agreement now, get into covenant now, what the Lord has for you to do, you may miss out on the opportunity to do it later, and you're going to regret it. Okay. So I just wanted to share with you all my dream I had, what I have been given the opportunity to do, and the battles and the distractions and the tactics the enemy used to try to come against it, right? And that's how you know that you're on the right track. When you start facing those battles, those spiritual attacks, that's how you know that you're supposed to be doing something. You're doing the right thing. Okay. So don't let anybody tell you different. All right. Keep moving forward, keep pushing forward, and keep focused on what the Lord has for you to do. Don't let nothing or nobody get in the way of that. The Lord is going to protect you. He built you for this. He made you for this. You were born for this. Okay. And he knew that you were going to be the one to do it. No matter what you went through in life, and you may still be going through something, but you know what God's called you to do. It's time to answer the call. Okay. So I hope you all were blessed by this. Hopefully somebody was blessed by this. Um, again, the Lord speaks to me in dreams that many of you haven't heard to listen to me. He does speak to me in dreams. That's how he speaks to me. But what I've noticed is the more I grow in relationship with the Lord, the more I have to seek him out for answers, right? It used to be easy. My dreams used to be easy to interpret, right? But this time I'm seeing that as I am moving forward with, more responsibility, more authority or something, whatever you want to call it, I noticed that the more I have to seek him out for more answers, right? The deeper I have to go in my relationship with him for him to lead me in the right direction. Okay, because again, I don't go looking, I don't look for things to do. I wait for him to give me opportunities, right? But I know when he sends them, that it's the right one, right? It's the right opportunity, right? When the doors are open. Sometimes you have to actually answer the call. Like if somebody, like for example, if somebody puts something in front of your face, you have to, and they don't ask you specifically, right? They might ask in general. That's an opportunity. Even though the Lord didn't present it to you only, it's still an opportunity where you can respond and say yes. So you have to recognize when it's a real opportunity or not. Okay. But the thing is, when he presents something to you, just know that it's coming from him, right? And again, I was unsure. I really was unsure at first, but the Lord he told me what not to do. You know what I'm saying? He told me what not to say, or not to say too much. He told me that, right? He did tell me that. So I know that he confirmed that I should do it, but he also confirmed, like, don't say too much. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, just learn to hear from what the Lord's telling you to do. Don't be afraid to act on it because of what you may feel maybe push back. Okay. But just do it anyway, because God's gonna bless you for it. And those opportunities actually are stepping stones for additional opportunities, right? It's for additional opportunities for elevation, and things like that. So you need to do it. Okay. Just again, test every spirit by the spirit, right? But with that being said, I hope you all have been blessed by this and have a great night. And I will talk to you again in the future. Bye bye.